Have you ever felt like you're running on a treadmill, working harder and harder but not getting anywhere, pouring all your sweat, time, and energy into something, only to see minimal results? If that sounds familiar, then you need to hear the story of Daniel, a farmer who learned one of life's most valuable lessons right in the middle of his fields. Daniel was the hardest working farmer in the valley. From the first hint of dawn until the last sliver of twilight, he was out there tending to his land. His hands were calloused, his back ached, and his face was permanently tanned from the sun. He believed in one simple principle: the more you sweat, the more you get. His neighbors would often see him, a lone figure under the vast sky, tirelessly plowing, sowing, and weeding. They admired his dedication, his sheer grit. "Nobody works like Daniel," they'd say, shaking their heads in a mix of awe and pity. But here's the strange part. Despite all his relentless effort, Daniel's farm was just average. His harvests were decent, but never spectacular. He made enough to get by, but he was far from prosperous. His crops were often just as susceptible to pests and bad weather as everyone else's. He'd look over at his neighbor, an older, wiser farmer named Samuel, whose fields were always bursting with life. Samuel seemed to work half as much, yet his harvests were consistently the best in the valley. He had time to sit on his porch in the afternoons, whittling wood or playing with his grandchildren. This drove Daniel crazy. What was Samuel's secret? Was it better soil? Some kind of magic fertilizer? One year, a particularly harsh drought hit the valley. Daniel doubled his efforts. He'd wake up even earlier to haul buckets of water from the river, his muscles screaming in protest. He spent his days digging irrigation trenches by hand under the scorching sun. He was exhausted, running on fumes, but he pushed on, convinced that sheer willpower would see him through. Meanwhile, Samuel seemed surprisingly calm. He wasn't running back and forth with buckets. Instead, Daniel saw him spending a few days setting up a strange system of pipes and tarps across his fields. It looked complicated, and Daniel scoffed, thinking, what a waste of time. He should be watering his crops, not playing with pipes. Daniel felt a sense of pride in his own back-breaking labor. This was real work. This was what it took. As the weeks went on, Daniel's fields began to suffer. The ground cracked, and his plants drooped, yellow and thirsty. Despite his Herculean efforts, he just couldn't bring enough water to save them all. He was losing the battle. One evening, defeated and covered in dust, he walked to the edge of his property and looked over at Samuel's farm. He expected to see the same devastation. Instead, he saw a field of vibrant green. Samuel's crops were thriving. That was the breaking point. Swallowing his pride, Daniel walked over to Samuel's porch, where the old farmer was, as usual, relaxing with a cool drink. "Samuel," Daniel began, his voice raspy from fatigue, "I don't understand. I work twice as hard as you. I've nearly broken my back trying to save my crops from this drought. But your farm, it looks perfect. How?" Samuel smiled kindly and gestured for Daniel to sit. He didn't gloat or lecture. He simply said, "Daniel, you're the strongest and most dedicated man I know. But you believe strength is all that matters. Come, let me show you something." He led Daniel to his fields and pointed to the network of pipes. "This is a drip irrigation system," Samuel explained. Once spent a few days at the start of the dry season setting it up. "See these tiny holes? They deliver water directly to the base of each plant, drop by drop. There's no waste, No evaporation, like when you throw buckets of water on the surface. It uses less than a quarter of the water and is far more effective. Daniel stared, his mind reeling. All those hours he'd spent hauling heavy buckets, all that sweat. It was not only harder, it was less effective, but that's not all, Samuel continued, leading him to a small shed. Inside were charts, books, and journals. I spend the winter months planning, he said. I study crop rotation. By rotating my crops, I prevent the soil from being depleted of specific nutrients and break the life cycles of pests. That's why I have fewer bug problems than you do. You plant the same thing in the same place year after year, which invites trouble. He then showed Daniel a chart tracking rainfall patterns over the last decade. I also study the weather, Samuel said. History told me a drought was likely this year. That's why I invested my time in building the irrigation system instead of waiting for the problem to hit. It was like a lightning bolt had struck Daniel. He had been so focused on the doing, the physical act of farming, that he had completely neglected the thinking. He was a phenomenal worker, but a poor strategist. He was fighting battles with brute force, while Samuel was winning the war with his mind. Samuel wasn't lazy, he was efficient. He invested his time and energy up front in planning and building systems, which then did the hard work for him. Daniel felt a wave of embarrassment, but it was quickly replaced by a profound sense of enlightenment. He finally understood. It wasn't about working harder, it was about working smarter. From that day on, everything changed for Daniel. He spent the next winter not just sharpening his tools, but sharpening his mind. He read books, he talked to agricultural experts, and most importantly, he learned from Samuel. He learned about soil health, companion planting, and water conservation. He stopped seeing rest as a weakness and started seeing it as a necessary time for planning and strategy. The following spring, Daniel didn't just rush out to plow. He took the time to test his soil. He installed his own drip irrigation system. It took a week of hard work, but he knew it would save him months of back-breaking labor later. He diversified his crops and planned a rotation schedule for the next 3 years. His neighbors were confused at first. They saw Daniel spending more time reading and planning, and less time drenched in sweat in the fields. Looks like Daniel is finally slowing down, they whispered. They were wrong. He wasn't slowing down, he was speeding up. When the harvest came that year, Daniel's farm was transformed. His yields were double what they had ever been. His produce was healthier, and he had a wider variety to sell at the market. For the first time, he wasn't just getting by, he was thriving. And the most amazing part, he had more free time than ever before. He had evenings to spend with his family, and he even found time to sit on his own porch, just like Samuel. Daniel's story is a powerful reminder for all of us. Are we caught in the hard work trap? Are we just hauling buckets, or are we building pipelines? Whether you're a student, an entrepreneur, an artist, or a professional, take a moment to step back from the daily grind. Ask yourself, is there a smarter way to do this? Can I build a system? Can I invest time now to save myself effort later? Working hard is noble, but working smart is revolutionary. It's the difference between just surviving and truly thriving. So, let's all try to be a little more like Daniel after his revelation. Let's honor the sweat, but let's celebrate the strategy. Because true success isn't measured by how tired you are at the end of the day, but by the results you achieve and the life you get to live. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, Hit that like button and subscribe for more content to help you work smarter, not harder. See you in the next video.